Good morning or good afternoon, and welcome wherever you are joining from today. So, I am Jason Fitzgerald, VP of Product for the US here at Blustream, and thanks for taking the time to join this session on Blustream HDBaseT solutions. So, today we'll look at where HDBaseT fits in modern AV distribution, how the Blustream range supports residential and commercial projects, and how dealers can match the right product to the right installation. So, your microphones are muted during the presentation, and please use the chat and Q&A for questions. I'll answer what I can during the session. Of course, we'll circle back around if we've got time here at the end. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, before we get into the product range, let's quickly set the stage, right? HDBaseT remains one of the most useful technologies in professional AV because it solves a practical installation problem, right? Moving reliable AV, control, and supporting signals over distance using category cable. For dealers, this matters in larger homes or meeting rooms, classrooms, hospitality spaces, or even multi-zone systems where long HDMI runs aren't practical. That is the foundation for the solutions that we'll cover here today. Now, at a simple level, HDBaseT lets dealers move converged AV, control, Ethernet, USB, and power over a single category cable, depending on the product and HDBaseT generation being used. Now, that gives installers a cleaner infrastructure path than running separate cables for each signal type. It also helps reduce rack clutter, simplify cable planning, and improve confidence on longer residential and commercial runs. For Blustream, HDBaseT is valuable because it supports scalable systems that are easier to install, easier to manage, and better suited to real-world AV environments. One of the biggest reasons dealers use Blustream HDBaseT, of course, is because of distance. Passive HDMI works well for short runs, but performance becomes less predictable as cable length, resolution, and bandwidth increases. So in practice, around 15 meters is often treated as the practical limit for dependable passive HDMI, especially with 4K and HDR content. Blustream HDBaseT extenders and matrices help solve that problem by using category cable to deliver long range or long distance AV distribution, often up to 100 meters depending on the product, cable, and signal format. Now, it's good here to quickly talk about HDBaseT Spec 3, and this is where the technology has stepped forward for premium AV distribution. It supports uncompressed HDMI 2.0 performance up to 18 gigabits per second, including 4K 60 at 444, dynamic HDR formats, zero latency transport, 1 gigabit Ethernet, USB 2.0 control, and power all over Cat6a cabling up to 100 meters. For dealers, the value is simple: premium video quality and long-distance reliability without adding unnecessary system complexity. Blustream was early to market with Spec 3 solutions, so that isn't just a future-looking technology, right? It's already a proven platform for demanding residential and commercial installations. Now, let's move into the Blustream HDBaseT product overview. Right? The range covers simple point-to-point extenders, things like ARC and USB-enabled solutions, wall plates, power accessories, splitter switchers, and full matrix systems for larger multi-zone projects. The focus today isn't just about specifications, right? We'll look at where each product fits, what problems it helps solve, and how dealers can use the range to select the right HDBaseT solution for the right installation. So one of the strengths of the Blustream HDBaseT 3 portfolio range is that it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of offering, right? For a single display, a straightforward extender may be the right choice. For a larger home, classroom, boardroom, hospitality, or commercial project, that application may require things like centralized routing, ARC, audio breakout, Ethernet, or even long-reach solutions. Blustream uses the right HDBaseT technology for the right job, and that of course includes Spec 3 that we just talked about. We also employ things like CSC, or color space conversion, for practical 4K HDR systems and long-reach models where distance is the priority. So let's start with the extender side of the range. For many dealers, extenders are the most common HDBaseT product used in the field. They solve a very specific problem: getting a source signal to a display reliably when a standard HDMI cable isn't the right tool. Blustream offers options for everyday HDMI extension, ARC audio return, USB KVM, Ethernet, long-reach applications, and premium uncompressed 18 gigabit per second systems. The goal is to choose the extender based on the application and not force one product into every single job. Blustream offers extender solutions for a wide range of projects. So for everyday residential TV zones or small commercial spaces, a simple slimline extender may be all that's needed. For larger projects or rack room systems, the CSC and long reach models add more distance, control, ARC, and things like Ethernet and audio integration. For media rooms and smart TV audio return, ARC models simplify getting audio back from the display. And at the premium end, HDBaseT 3 solutions add uncompressed 18 gigabit video, eARC, KVM, Ethernet, and advanced options or audio options for demanding residential and commercial environments. So let's go ahead and take a look at just a few of these solutions now. Here we have the Hex 70 SL kit, and it's the everyday go-to extender for simple, reliable HDMI extension. It's a strong fit for living rooms, media rooms, bedrooms, classrooms, and small commercial spaces where a standard HDMI cable just isn't practical. It supports 4K 60 at 420 up to 40 meters and 1080p up to 70 meters. It's also got bidirectional IR and POC, allowing the kit to be powered from really either end. For dealers, the value is repeatability. It's a compact, cost-effective, easy to deploy, and makes it ideal for high-volume projects where the system simply just needs to work. Now, moving on, when we have installations that are a little bit more complex, right, we have something like here the Hex 150 CS kit, which is designed for larger and more demanding installations, where really just that standard extender may not provide enough distance or integration functions. It's well suited to larger homes, rack to room systems, dedicated media rooms, classrooms, and like commercial projects. Using CSC, it supports 4K 60 444 up to 100 meters and 1080p up to 150 meters when employing something called long reach mode. It also adds ARC, Ethernet pass-through, RS-232 serial, and it's got bidirectional IR, POC, and audio breakout. For dealers, this reduces infrastructure limitation and gives more freedom when locating equipment. Now, when looking at something a little bit more specialized, we have something here like the Hex 70 ARC kit or Hex 70 ARC kit. And this is designed to solve a common residential problem, getting TV audio back to the system cleanly. It's ideal for media rooms, smart TV audio, and soundbar integrations, right? Also retrofit projects where pulling extra audio cabling isn't really practical. The kit extends HDMI over HDBaseT while supporting ARC and optical audio return, along with those common IR, POC, and EDID management that you see across the spectrum of Blustream products. For dealers, the benefit is a cleaner installation with fewer cable pulls and a simpler path for TV-based audio sources such as smart TVs. Now, moving up to the other end of the spectrum, the Hex 18G ARC kit that we see here is a premium extender, right? When we look at the Blustream HDBaseT range. It employs HDBaseT 3 technology that we talked about earlier. So it supports uncompressed 18 gigabit per second HDMI 2.0, right? And dynamic HDR formats like HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision, the full fat Dolby Vision and not the low latency mode, right? Up to 100 meters over Cat 6A. It's ideal for dedicated cinemas, luxury residential AV, gaming spaces, executive meeting rooms, and collaboration environments. Because beyond video, it adds things like eARC and ARC, optical and analog audio breakouts, USB KVM functionality that actually can be switched as to which direction it's going to be feeding from the TX-RX or ARC to 2X. And then, of course, guys, 1 gigabit Ethernet with serial IR and POC, which makes it a full premium AV connection, right, between a source and a display. Switching gears here to something a little bit more specialized in terms of finishes, we have the Hex 11 WPW-RX. So this is a wall plate for projects where AV receivers need to disappear into a room. So instead of placing a box behind the display, this receiver installs in a clean UK or European wall plate format, making a strong fit for boardrooms, classrooms, hospitality suites, luxury residential, or retrofit environments. It supports 4K 60 420 up to 40 meters and 1080p up to 70 meters, along with the traditional things or control extensions that you've seen me talk about here with the other solutions. So of course that's IR, serial CEC pass-through, and of course power over cable, from which of course you can power this from compatible Blustream products. Really, for dealers, the benefit is a cleaner architectural finish with fewer visible devices at the display. Now remember, as this is a UK or European wall plate format only, there isn't a US decor version of this. However, I did want to make sure that this product was included, because we do have, of course, more than the US guys who are joining this presentation. Now, moving on to something that is available in US decor formats. And here we have the Hex 31 or Hex 31 WP wall plate transmitter. And this is designed for modern meeting, education, hospitality, and presentation spaces where users need simple in-room connectivity. It combines 2 HDMI inputs and 1 USB-C input into a clean wall plate format, giving users a professional connection point at the table, lectern, or wall. It supports 4K 6420 up to 40 meters, 1080p up to 70, with auto or manual source switching, along with the common control signaling extension that we saw earlier with IR serial POC, and even programmable display on and off control via CEC and RS-232. Right? One thing to note here for dealers, and it's very important for everybody, the USB-C input here is for AV signal input and not USB-C device charging or USB-C data. The last product that we've picked out for this lineup or short really kind of presentation of HDBaseT solutions is the POC11, because it's a small but very useful problem-solving accessory for HDBaseT. Right? It allows dealers to inject selectable 12-volt or 24-volt power over cable into compatible Blustream HDBaseT systems, specifically to remotely power-compatible transmitter products. So this is a valuable retrofit education space, commercial deployment, and larger residential systems where, of course, local power isn't available at the transmitter location. The POC11 supports Blustream HDBaseT Spec 1, 2, or 3 video solutions and keeps supported signals such as HDMI, LAN, USB serial, and IR passing through the link. Now, this diagram is important because it clarifies what the POC11 does and does not do, right? The POC11 provides power flexibility, but it's not a signal repeater, and it does not extend the total HDBaseT distance. The combined cable distance on both sides of the POC11 still has to remain within the maximum distance supported by the connected transmitter and receiver combo. For dealers, this is an important design and troubleshooting point. Use the POC11 to solve power delivery issues, but do not use it as a distance extender. And here on this slide is a useful reminder that the Blustream extender range goes well beyond the few models that we've highlighted here. There are slimline options, CSC extenders, long reach models, ARC and USB solutions, multi-format wall plate kits, and premium HDBaseT 3 extenders. The important dealer message is to check the feature set for each application. Resolution, distance, POC voltage arc, etc. And audio things like audio breakout can vary by model. So while the products share a common HDBaseT ecosystem, the right choice depends on the required performance and system design. Now let's move from point-to-point extension into matrix switching and multi-zone distribution. This is where HDBaseT becomes the foundation for centralized AV systems. Matrix products allow dealers to place sources in one location and route them to multiple displays, manage audio and control, and scale the system as the project grows. In the next section, we'll look at the Blustream Matrix families and where each one fits, from everyday residential systems to premium HDBaseT 3 installations. So Blustream offers Matrix solutions for different project sizes, budgets, and feature requirements. The Contractor series is the practical workhorse for everyday residential, classroom, small office, and light commercial projects. The Essential series adds more flexibility for whole home AV, media rooms, and distributed audio video. The Custom Pro series provides modularity for larger or more complex systems, while the Platinum and HDBaseT 3 focus on premium audio flexibility and uncompromised video performance. For dealers, the value here, of course, is choice within one ecosystem. The Contractor series is designed for dependable multi-zone AV distribution without unnecessary cost or complexity. With 4x4, 6x8, and 8x8 options, it's a strong fit for everyday residential systems, classrooms, small offices, sports bars, and straightforward commercial deployments. Dealers get HDBaseT CSC distribution, centralized source switching, IR, POC, web config, and the core features needed for common projects. The 4x4 kit includes matched receivers for fast quoting and deployment. Larger 6x6 and 8x8 systems lets dealers specify receiver quantities and the type based on the actual project. The Essential series adds more flexibility for modern residential and light commercial AV systems. It's a strong fit for whole home AV, media rooms, family entertainment systems, and distributed AV projects where dealers need better audio integration and system control. Now, key features here include 4K HDR support using CSC, ARC integration, independent audio routing, smart scaling, web config, and really practical control options. The 4x2 and 4x4 kits include matching receivers for simple deployment, and the 6x6 and 8x8 models, as we saw with the Contractor series, gives dealers more flexibility to specify receivers based on the job. Now, the RX70CS is one of the most commonly specified HDBaseT receivers across the Blustream Matrix ecosystem. It's not the only receiver option, but it's often the practical go-to for the contractor and essential series systems because it's designed for that or for those systems. Using CSC, it supports 4K 60 444 up to 40 meters and 1080p up to 70 meters. It also supports ARC with compatible Blustream products, analog stereo and optical breakout, bidirectional IR, serial and POC. For dealers, it simplifies quoting, inventory, and technician familiarity and long-term support across everyday projects. Don't forget to include receivers when specifying 6x6 and 8x8 essential or contractor series, right? Because receivers are not going to be included. This, of course, is going to be the go-to, but of course there are others, like slimline products that can be used as well. Now, let's move into the Custom Pro Matrix platform. Now, this is where Blustream addresses projects that need more than standard source-to-display routing. Custom Pro is really designed for larger systems, more complex audio needs, and greater control flexibility, and layouts that need to be tailored to the project. It's a strong fit for residential, commercial, hospitality, multi-zone environments where system flexibility matters just as much as video performance. Now, as I said, the Custom Pro is a modular platform in the Blustream Matrix range. Instead of forcing dealers into a fixed matrix design, Custom Pro uses interchangeable input and output boards so the system can be built around the project. That makes it useful for luxury residential projects, hospitality, multi-dwelling system, corporate spaces, education facilities, and retrofits with non-standard layouts. It's available in 8x8 and 16x16 chassis option and gives dealers centralized HDBaseT distribution with flexible I/O, audio breakout, serial, receiver side power over cable, and even Dante audio options without moving fully into an AV over IP architecture. Now let's step into the Platinum Matrix. This section focuses on premium multi-zone AV systems where audio flexibility is just as important as video routing. The PLA88CS that's in this series is designed for larger residential systems, media rooms with secondary zones, sports bars, hospitality spaces, and entertainment venues. It combines an 8x8 HDBaseT CSC matrix with advanced Dolby and DTS downmixing, independent audio routing, ARC support, long-reach HDBaseT performance, and flexible receiver options for different zone requirements. The PLA88CS is built for premium multi-zone projects where different rooms may need different audio formats. A cinema room may need Dolby Atmos or DTS playback, while bedrooms, kitchens, patios, or secondary displays may only need stereo audio. The PLA88CS helps solve that by combining an 8x8 HDBaseT matrix with Dolby and DTS downmixing and a 24x16 audio matrix that can be controlled separately from video. Dealers here can reduce extra audio extraction, DSP, and rack hardware while supporting whole home AV, media rooms, hospitality venues, sports bar, and entertainment spaces. Now, paired to that, we have the RX150CS, and it's the premium long-reach receiver designed for the PLA88CS platform. It's the receiver to specify when a zone needs more than basic video extension, including long distance, ARC, Ethernet pass-through, and of course things like local audio breakout. Using CSC here, it supports 4K 60 444 up to 100 meters and 1080p up to 150 meters when using the long reach mode. At the display location, it adds ARC, Ethernet, serial, and IR along with audio breakout while being powered from a compatible matrix product for a cleaner installation. And of course, in this case, that'll be the PLA88CS. Now, the TX150CS is the companion long-reach transmitter for the PLA88CS platform. It's designed to bring remote sources back into a centralized AV system. Now, that's useful when a gaming console, a local media player or presentation source, or even an entertainment area is located away from the main rack. Using CSC, like the other products we've talked about, it supports 4K 60 444 at up to 100 meters or 1080p up to 150 meters using long reach. It also supports ARC via HDMI or optical, Ethernet pass-through, serial, EDID management, and POC, helping dealers keep systems centralized while placing sources where clients actually use them. Now we're moving into the top end of the Blustream HDBaseT matrix range, the HDBaseT 3 matrix platforms. These products are for projects where image quality, signal integrity, and audio routing control and long-distance distribution all matter. They're especially well suited to premium residential AV, dedicated media spaces, large multi-zone systems, executive boardroom, gaming spaces, and commercial environments where the client expects uncompromised 4K performance over category cable. The HDBaseT 3 Matrix series is the Blustream premium platform for uncompromising 4K distribution. It comprised of a 4x4 and 8x8 platforms that support uncompressed HDMI 2.0 at 18 gigabits per second, right? All this being done over Cat6a up to 100 meters. Long reach mode here also supports 1080p up to 150. And note the 4x4 kit includes matched RX 18G receivers for easier quoting, while the 8x8 gives dealers flexibility to specify receivers by zone. Now these systems also support audio routing, ARC, 1 gigabit Ethernet, along with IR serial and POC. And the last category we're talking about here is the splitters and switcher solutions that employ HDBaseT tech. Now, these products are useful when the project doesn't need a full matrix, but still needs reliable infrastructure. A splitter is ideal when one source needs to feed multiple displays, such as sports bars, signage, showrooms, classrooms, and TV zones. And a switcher is ideal when several rooms or room sources need to feed one display or presentation system. So think huddle rooms, boardrooms, classrooms, and training spaces. Here, the HSP14CSV2 is a practical choice when dealers need to send one HDMI source to 4 remote displays without the cost or complexity of a full matrix. It's ideal for sports bars, retail signage, hospitality, classrooms, training rooms, showrooms, demo spaces, and even residential secondary zones. Using CSC, it'll support 4K 6444 up to 40 meters and 1080p up to 70 meters with independent downscaling on each HDBaseT output. It also includes HDMI loop output, EDID management, audio breakout IR, and POC. For full 4K 6444, use the recommended Hex 70 CSRX receiver. And finally, the SW41 HDBT is a compact presentation hub for classrooms, huddle rooms, boardrooms, training spaces, and flexible meeting environments. It combines 2 local HDMI inputs with 2 remote HDBaseT inputs, then routes the selected source to simultaneous HDMI and HDBaseT outputs. Using CSC, it supports HDMI 2.0 at 18 gigs, with HDBaseT extension up to 40 meters at 4K or 70 at 1080p. For dealers, the value here is simple operation, right? We've got automatic or manual source selection, web GUI control, CEC source display control, along with serial IR and TCP/IP for control. To boot of them, we've got audio breakout and EDID management, along with things like POC to ensure that those receivers are being powered, or receiver, I should say. Now that's going to bring us to the end of today's session. So hopefully this has given you a clear understanding of where HDBaseT fits in modern AV distribution and how Blustream supports everything from simple point-to-point extension to advanced multi-zone residential and commercial systems. To learn more, visit bluestream-us.com to explore the product range, review specs, or download the latest solutions brochure. You can also contact your authorized Blustream distributor, regional manager, or the Blustream support team for help with product selection, system design, or technical questions. So thanks again for your time today. Now, let's take a few questions. So go ahead and submit anything you'd like covered through the chat or Q&A panel in Teams, and I'll certainly answer as many as possible here. And if your question is project specific or product specific, or needs a deeper design review, please feel free to reach out directly using the email address here on screen. We're always happy to help with product selection, system design, and application guidance.